Hey, welcome back to Aircraft Adventures. I'm Liam Locke, and we're back in the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 edition, version 1.16.2.0. This is Sim Update 4. Part 2 of our journey from San Juan International Airport to Trinidad and Tobago, the island of Tobago, and ANR Robinson International Airport. Moon up there in the sky in our Airbus A320neo A32NX add-on from fly-by-wire. About just under 300 miles to go before we arrive in Trinidad and Tobago. I'll hop back in the cockpit here, take a look at where we are. So heading towards Limbo, our last waypoint before we start working our way towards the initial approach fix. About 86 nautical miles from there. Look down here at the CDU. 280 nautical miles to go into the airport. We want to get a couple things set up though for our descent and for approach. So we need to get some information from the approach and the airport for the runway. So let's go out to Navigraph and grab some of that information. Let me get that set up over here. We are, of course, en route to see Jason down in Tobago. Looking forward to seeing him. Going to hang out at the villa for the weekend. Great time to do that. So let me grab the chart here. Here's Navigraph. Take a look. So we want to get the ILS information. So ILS frequency 109.3 for runway 11. And we are using the ILS-Z approach. Final approach course 109 degrees. Runway elevation 29 feet. Make sure we also get the identifier for the localizer, which is ITAB. Just make a note of that so we can confirm that we've got the right localizer, which shouldn't be a problem because there won't be too many airports around us as we approach Tobago. Take a look at our missed approach information. So it'd be climb straight ahead up to 2,000 feet. Just make a note of that. And then a right-hand turn to Tobago VOR. Okay. And we'll come back in case we need that. And now we want to look at also our decision altitude. For full ILS straight-in landing, our decision altitude is going to be 266 feet. That's our barometric decision altitude, so we'll program that in, and I think that gives us everything. The only other thing we want to take a look at is transition altitudes, and so we're not in the US anymore. Transition altitude for this approach is going to be 4,100 feet, and we certainly want to make a note of that and get that programmed in. So with all this information, we'll go back into the aircraft and just start getting a couple things set up. 258 nautical miles from the airport. We want to go to performance first. And we're in cruise, which is right. Go next phase here, next phase. We don't have our weather information yet quite for the airport, so we'll come back to that. But we can go ahead and enter transition altitude now. So 4,100. And our barometric decision altitude will be 266. Alright, we can see, make note of our approach and landing speed, so 127, 122. And then we'll need to get our weather information. Looking at the still the approach chart for runway 11, I can see that I have an ATIS frequency of 132.2. what we can do is go ahead and get that programmed in the second radio. I like to do this just so I get the ATIS information as soon as it becomes available once I get close to my destination. So go over here to first officer's seat, and we're going to adjust the first officer's radio. I'm flying with managed radio, so I'm hoping it's going to let me do this. It should. 132.2. Okay. We'll go ahead and make that active, and we want to turn on VHF2 so we can hear that broadcast when it comes into range. So that should make that happen. Some more to do down here. Transition altitude, yes. We've already set in our flight plan runway 11, so we don't need to make any changes to that. We need to go to the radio navigation page. Go ahead and put in our ILS frequency, which we noted at 109.3. And still can't enter any course information. That's left blank. So that completes this for the time being. We'll go back here to flight plan. And just spot check our ECAM. Everything's green and no issues. And we can get the weather. Now, one thing we can do to try and get the weather, this is something new. I haven't done this too often, but we'll give it a shot here. We can go out to the MCD menu, go to ATSU, AOC menu, and let's get a weather request. We'll get METAR from our destination airport, so TTCP. We just select that, and then click send. That'll go out. It takes just not even a minute, a little bit less. We'll give it a moment. And then we should be able to go to received messages. And here I have some METAR data that was just received. And we can see for TTCP, our destination of Tobago, we have winds out of, let's zoom in on that a little bit, winds out of 90 at 8 knots, so we can make a note of that. So 090 at 8 knots. We got good visibility, few clouds, 1,600, scattered at 3,600, temperature 26, dew point 23, really? And then our Q1015, our QNH, so make note of that information. Now we can take this data and we can program it into the flight management computer. So to get a quick, easy conversion from my hectopascals to inches of mercury, I just go up here and look at the standby altimeter. We'll put in 1015. So we're going to be in a ballpark of 2998, so that's close enough. We'll go ahead and drop that in the flight management computer to start. So we'll go back to our performance information. QNH. Put this in as, what do you say, 29 or 9 or 8? Temperature 26 degrees. And wind 090 at 08. So that's at least got us set up. If we get different weather information when the ATIS broadcast becomes live, we can always modify these values that we've currently set. Go back to our flight plan, see where we are. So we're 208 nautical miles away from the airport, getting ready to cross the Limbo waypoint in about another 13 nautical miles. go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. Jason was so funny. He said, "You got to fly back to Tobago. You got to fly back." I said, "All right, Jason. All right, Jason. I'll fly back there." And I didn't have the scenery specifically for Tobago or for Trinidad. And quite honestly, when I looked at the add-on that was available for the airports in Trinidad and Tobago, I wasn't all that impressed. I just don't think some of the quality of the building work, the modeling, is just not quite up to par. In fact, it's probably specifically the Tobago airport. I probably found the version of the airport put together in FSX, if you can believe that, FSX, even better than the current one that I have in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which, you know, any other airport that would be impossible to accomplish. But whoever the author was who created that Tobago A&R Robinson International Airport in FSX, he was, or she was, amazing. Not much to see outside, but take a look. Got, I think that is St. Lucia down there. So we are at a cruising altitude of 39,000 feet, 170 nautical miles, 177 nautical miles away from the airport. Flying once again with air traffic control after Sim Update 4. They updated the phraseology and made some other improvements, not only to air traffic control, but also to some of the aircraft. And I wanted to go back to it because I learned something recently about configuring my flight plan inside of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I covered this a little bit in the first video, but the most important thing that I wanted to try out is selecting an arrival gate. You know, you set up these flights and you kind of pick an appropriate departure gate, and you want to have an appropriate arrival gate when you land at the airport. So after my landing, when I communicate with air traffic control and I ask for a gate assignment, the expectation is they're going to give me the gate that I designated in my flight plan. And that's exactly what we want to have happen. That way we'll be greeted with a marshaller and we'll be able to park as if they were expecting us to pull into the airport. So that's the plan, and I believe it will actually work that way. Now the downside is you can't just natively import a SimBrief flight plan into Microsoft Flight Simulator, because as soon as you go and you pick your arrival gate, it revamps the flight plan. It doesn't stick with your designated flight plan, and at that point, you know, you can kind of reverse engineer it a little bit. Just take the flight plan that Microsoft Flight Simulator comes up with and tell SimBrief to use that flight plan instead of the one that it kind of chose for you. That's one way of getting around it. And that's what we did. We talked about that in the last part 1 of this flight. And the other problem that we've had with air traffic control in the past as well is, you know, inevitably they bring you too close. They don't start descent soon enough. And then it's a mad rush to get down to an appropriate altitude so you can be stable for your approach and descent down to the runway. And it was really bad, you know, when Microsoft Flight Simulator first came out, especially if you're flying the airliners. I think it's probably harder to be horrible when you're flying the general aviation aircraft, but when you're up at, you know, 30,000 plus feet and ATC comes on and tells you to drop down to 2,300, you're like, what? And that did happen. That has happened. They just think you're going to fall out of the sky, you know, in a short distance. Didn't make any sense, so got tired of working with air traffic control, but we're back. We're going to give them an opportunity. I really want to start flying with VATSIM, and I've mentioned this a couple times, and I'm looking forward to, you know, giving that a go. But it's a little intimidating, you know, getting on VATSIM for the first time, making sure that you know the correct phraseology to use when talking with air traffic controllers. You know, everyone's out to have a good time and, you know, enjoy the whole simming experience, and you don't want to be that knucklehead that doesn't know what they're doing and makes it worse for the others who are trying to enjoy, you know, simming with real air traffic control, or simulated real air traffic control, I guess. So just spot checking instruments, 39,000 feet. Don't have anything to change right now. We're not flying with the weather turned on. Everything is pretty much normal. This is the easy part of flight, just kicking back and enjoying the cruise. But we should be getting some descent guidance here, I'm hoping relatively soon, from air traffic control. And I like to just periodically spot check the last announcement from ATC. Nothing directed at us, so okay, not a problem. Some beautiful scenery out there. You just cannot beat the graphic detail of the terrain and buildings, the clouds, in any other simulator. Microsoft Flight Simulator has done an outstanding job with that level of detail. So we don't have any altitude constraints. We are now 133 nautical miles away from runway 11. Now what's interesting about this is, notice that I'm getting off of my flight plan, and this happened in a prior flight. I don't want it to do that. I'm not sure why it's heading for runway 11, but we want it to be heading for C11. So we're going to hit direct to here and go C11, kind of get ourselves situated back for an approach. And there's our first descent guidance.
Descend and maintain flight level 310 Spirit 6529er.
C11, if I bring up the ILS chart here, C11 is actually not even depicted, but I'll show you this. So here is going to be our approach to the runway. We looked at this just a moment ago. So we're going to be coming in down this path here, and we need to be out here a good 12 nautical miles away from the runway, ideally even further. But at minimum, we're going to come in out here and then get lined up for our approach. So we'll be at 1,700 feet by the time we come into C111, which is this D12 marker. And then proceed 1,700 feet to NOTEL, engage the glide slope, and descend down to the runway. That is our plan right now. So our distance has changed. I went back to C11. Now it says we're 193 nautical miles away from the airport. Which seems to be to look at this here. Let's zoom out, make sure I don't have any funky loops going on. NOTEL, I should be correct. Not adjusting now. Why is it not adjusting? We're not going to worry about that. That's the problem, is you'll see one little glitch or hiccup in the simulator, and you'll start to try and figure it out. And before you know it, you'll be on top of your destination
And maintain flight level 210 Spirit.
and completely unprepared for your landing. So we're not going to get too distracted by that. Descending now to 21,000 feet per ATC guidance. We still should have pretty good distance. I mean, we're over 80 nautical miles away from getting even remotely close to our initial approach fix. So nothing to worry about quite yet. We still haven't picked up the ATIS frequency on the second comm channel. So descending down, approaching 26,000 feet. Transition altitude is very low, down to 4,100 feet. So far everything looks fine. And we could expedite our descent here a little bit, which I might just try and do that. Make sure we don't pick up too much speed. So approaching 21,000 feet, we should get additional descent guidance from air traffic control here momentarily.
Spirit 6529er descend and maintain 15,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 15,000 feet. Spirit 6529er.
So 60 nautical miles away. I still am not happy with the flight management computer. It's not updating distance-wise again. Not sure what it's up to or why it did that. I know we did the direct, but that should just continue on our flight plan. 61, yes. Again, not getting too hung up on it. Descending down to 15,000 feet.
Spirit 6529er, you wish to mile on north 000. Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. Expect factors ILS of your runway point one heavy rain. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,200 feet. Few clouds at 4. Descend and maintain 1,700 feet. 400 feet. Temperature 28. Dew point.
Descend and
Okay, so we got the weather and our descent guidance there at all at the same time.
Initial contact, you have Kilo.
So we'll just spot check this weather.
Airport information, Kilo 1400 Zulu. Wind 10 at tree 4. Visibility 6 in heavy rain. Sky condition.
534,
Few clouds at
10534.
1,200 feet. Few clouds at 4,300 feet. Few
That's
clouds
34
at
km.
12,400 feet. Temperature 28. Dew point 10.
2810.
2907.
2907.
In use. Landing and departing runway 11. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft
Turn this
report
off.
short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have Kilo.
Okay, so 2997. We'll get this set up. No, you can't set it in advance. So we're getting down there. We can go ahead and just engage that now. 2997. The winds were slightly different. Go to your performance. Next phase. We have 105 at 34. Which is more like 15. 105, 15. Temperature was 28. Okay, 127, 122 is still good to go. Go ahead and get the landing system turned on. 10,000 feet. Aircraft is slowing down right now. We're going to need to expedite our descent here as soon as we get down to speed. We're going to help it slow down. Go ahead and engage the spoiler. Go ahead and expedite our descent down. It's trying to go back to runway 11 again, which, why is it doing that? I don't want that to be active. Make sure we're not trying to turn here. Direct to C11. Don't change that. Nautical miles. Looking good. 20, just over 20 nautical miles, 23 nautical miles to C111. Still descending down to 5,000 feet. Speed's a little fast. Looks like we got us some weather. Coming in on 5,000 feet now. Oh, look at the rainbow. How cool is that? The reflection in the water. It's actually reflections in the clouds. That's a great little touch. "5,000 feet, closing in here quickly."
Spirit 6529er contact PR code approach on 119.55.
And looks like we've started our...
Going to 119.55 Spirit 6529er.
We started the approach phase.
Yarko approach Spirit 6529er is passing 5,000 feet, descending 1,700 feet.
Spirit 6529er PR code approach QNH 29er.907 continuous planned.
So 29907 is still good to go. We don't have the landing system has not picked up the localizer yet, which is expected. We're still a good ways away. Flying at 5,000 feet, stable. Continuing to C111. Plane is slowing down to approach phase speed, so we're going down to green dot speed, just over 200 knots indicated airspeed, 5,000 feet. We are long since probably should have turned on our landing lights, so we'll take care of that right now. Get the seatbelt signs turned on.
Spirit 6529er, you are 19 miles northwest of Crown Point. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact tower on 118.4.
So we did pick up the localizer now,
Maintain present heading and
109.3.
Tower on 118.4 Spirit 6529er.
We're supposed to be at 1,700 feet.
Tower Spirit 6529er 18 miles northwest, inbound ILS Yankee runway 11 approach. Spirit 6529er tower. QNH 29er.9er, 7 wind 105 at 14. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 11 approach.
What did she say? The
Cleared ILS Yankee runway 11 approach Spirit 6529er.
So we're cleared Yankee approach, but we need to be descending. We should be 1,700 feet. Well, allegedly they know best. We're going to stay at 5,000 here for a moment, but we may have to certainly go around or abort this landing if they don't give us some descent guidance here relatively soon. We'll get it set up for landing, do a medium brake. We'll get the spoilers armed for landing. I'm going to go ahead and gauge, well, we're still a little ways here. Not quite yet. It's a little too early for me. Green dot, not much to see outside, flying into clouds. You can see the water down there, that's for sure. There's another plane over there. Nervous about this descent guidance. Wish they would give it to us. 3.7. Five nautical miles. So we're starting our turn. Not runway 11. Correct. To NOTAL. NOTAL. So go to NOTAL. We'll engage the localizer. where are you going? It's coming back about. We're not really in good shape. We should be descending, and they still haven't given us descent guidance. We're way above the glide slope. And if I descend now, right, they're not going to give me proper clearance to land, which this is really kind of messed up. You know, it's 5,000 feet was the guidance that we received from them. The last descent guidance was down to 5,000 feet. So this is not going to work, quite honestly. So they didn't set us up. We're not going to intercept the localizer correctly. We're going to turn this off. They didn't give us descent guidance. We're going to have to declare a missed approach.
Tower Spirit 6529er is going missed. Spirit 6529er contact Piarco approach on 119er, decimal 55. Going to 119er, decimal 55, Spirit 6529er. Piarco approach Spirit 6529er is missed approach at Crown Point.
Spirit 6529er, you are 4 miles west. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors ILS Yankee runway 11 approach.
So descend 2,000 feet now.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors ILS Yankee runway 11 approach Spirit.
Which doesn't make much
6529er.
sense, but we'll do it. We'll continue on our current course. .109. That was a climb guidance at 2,000 after going missed. We weren't at the correct altitude. So we're flying over the airport right now. If you look down there below, there's A&R Robinson right down there on the ground. .2000, then turn right, TADBND, TADBND.
Spirit 6529er, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
We're going down as safely as we can right now. Turn right up ahead, so we'll continue up a little bit further. Let's put this out of the way here for a second. We want to turn right, so we'll go out here to the right.
Piarco approach Spirit 6529er requesting vector to next waypoint.
Spirit 6529er, turn left heading 325.
No! You guys aren't following a procedure.
Spirit 6529er.
not doing that. I don't give a shit. We're turning right to 325. Should be at 3,000 feet according to the procedure, but we'll hang out here at 2,000 just so air traffic control doesn't complain. Get to what's cool about this is, listen, you're going to get another flyby over the island. So if you want to see what it looks like here, and yeah, we're still descending. This is a pretty cool opportunity to go mist and kind of sightsee the island. Not going to complain about this. Nice 2,000 foot altitude to fly by. If only the clouds weren't so thick. Come on, clouds. Killing me. Going to actually head back out. 329. So we're going to head back over here out to C111 and come about here in a moment. Try and line this approach up once again. Two 2,000 feet. We're still flying at green dot speed. And back into a little bit of rain. So we'll turn to intercept this prior flight path. Alright, go flaps 1 here, get the plane to come down to speed. We'll start turning towards C111. And there's the descent guidance.
Tango Alpha, you are 2 miles west.
That's the descent guidance we were looking for earlier.
Expect ILS
So now we'll descend down to 1700.
cleared to curry.
Descend and maintain 1,700 feet. Tower on 118.4 Spirit 6529er. Tower Spirit 6529er, 14 miles west inbound ILS Yankee runway 11 approach. Spirit 6529er tower. QNH 29er.9er, 7 wind 105 at 20. Cleared ILS Yankee runway 11 approach.
Okay, a little bit too much there probably.
Cleared ILS Yankee runway 11 approach Spirit 6529er.
We'll go ahead and engage the localizer. We'll try and get a capture on the localizer as we start to get closer to Notel. So we're in a little better shape right now. We're going to go flaps 2. Uh, 11 nautical miles away from the airport. Looks like we've engaged a localizer. That's great. So we are in much better situation than we were last time for our approach. We never got that final descent guidance down to the runway. Notel will be where the initial approach fix is, where we actually intercept the glide slope. So currently at flaps 2, looking pretty good. We'll get configured for landing. So medium auto brakes are already set. Spoilers are already armed. It's good to go. We are just about there. We're going to go ahead and notify the cabin crew. Seatbelts are on. All of that stuff is good. Closing in here on Notel pretty quick. We're going to go take a look outside, which we need to do here periodically. We'll go ahead and arm the approach. Put the gear down. Currently 1,700 feet above the water surface. Much better shape than we were in just a minute ago. Still do not have visibility of the runway. Our decision altitude minimum be 266 barometric feet. Glide slope is alive. It's descending. We're about to engage it. There goes the glide slope. Flaps 3. So descending through the rain down to the runway. Still no visibility on the runway yet. We have engaged the glide slope. Our approach speed is 127, so we're going to slow the aircraft down here. Wow, can't see the runway yet. My gosh, 1,000 feet, full flaps. Configured for landing. I see the light up ahead. Wow, I'm going to let the plane fly in a little bit more on its own. We'll take control of it here in a minute, but I need to be able to see the runway a little better. my gosh, what is going on here? It's raining.
500. 400. 100 above.
100 above. Oh, there it is. We've got the aircraft.
300. Minimum.
Minimum, continue.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
And there we go. Down on the ground. Reversers. $60 knots. Reversers off. Take control of the brakes. Whoo! That was an interesting landing. Are you kidding me? That was crazy. So we'll go up here to the little turnaround area. That was nuts. Get our taxi light situated here. Come on, baby. Pay attention here. Get our flaps fully retracted.
Spirit 6529er, turn next taxiway.
We'll make a U-turn here.
Spirit 6529er, contact ground on 121.7.
Alright, got get things cleaned up here. Get our strobe light turned off. Get our landing lights turned off.
29er, did you hear my last transmission?
Yes, hold on. Talk to them.
One two one decimal 7 Spirit 6529er.
This turned off. That's looking good. And we're going to contact ground for our gate. Take our little time here. Tune ground. Slow the plane down a little bit more. Give us time to get situated. Request taxi to gates.
Ground Spirit 6529er, request taxi to the gate.
Spirit 6529er,
Yes!
taxi to gate 3.
We got gate 3. So they should be there ready to receive us. Let's get our transponder situated here.
Spirit 6529er, did you copy?
Yes.
Ground Spirit 6529er, I didn't copy. That say again, please.
Spirit 6529er, taxi to gate 3.
Gate 3. Give me the option to answer that. So gate 3 should be over here.
Spirit 6529er, please acknowledge.
Alright, hold on. Let me get off the runway. We're going to stop here. We'll pull into the gate momentarily. Because ATC, once again, is being extremely difficult, and they're going to brake on me right as I'm coming into park, which is really annoying.
Spirit 6529er, please acknowledge.
There's no option to acknowledge. Let me go up here and turn you off, because you're clearly not working for me right now. This. Scroll lock. Say again. Give me something.
Didn't copy, please say again for Spirit 6529er.
Spirit 6529er, taxi to gate 3.
Okay, give me the option to acknowledge it. So this is lovely. We're just going to have to ignore them for the time being because they don't have an option to acknowledge. Gate 3 should be right over here. Oh, no, they're still there. Okay, I thought it just about dropped me, which it did, and then it reset the gate. I don't know if you noticed that, but it kind of flashed everybody at the gate, but I think they're still over there ready to receive, so we're going to continue to make our way over there. Again, you know, ATC doesn't disappoint with hiccups in the simulator. I swear it's one of the most impossible things for the development team to get right. It's air traffic control. It's just a god-awful mess. Let's release the parking brake. I have yet to have a positive experience with air traffic control inside the simulator. But this should be our gate right here. Looks like we have a marshaller. Yep. Yep, got a marshaller, so we're going to make our way here into the gate. And hopefully we're going to get lined up here pretty good. Watch our speed. Fast. All right, that puts us in position here. Go ahead and hit the parking brake. APU turned on. It is. Get this APU bleed running. We should have turned off the taxi lights before we pulled in to the gate. We missed that one. We'll go ahead and turn off engine 1, engine 2. Get the spoilers unarmed. Oh, well, I hate when it does this. Come on. So we get the engines turned off here. They're shutting down. We probably should have turned off the radar as well, predictive wind shear, things that we should have done as part of our cleanup after landing. That was still a really fun landing. I'm not going to lie to you. That was so cool coming into the clouds and the rain and only picking up the runway at the last minute, having to do a go around and being able to kind of sightsee the island a little bit. That was pretty cool. That was fun. There was no way at 5,000 feet we were going to engage the glide slope at all. There's no way we were going to get down. So I knew this was kind of messed up at that point. But you know what? It turned out to be a great thing doing the go around. We didn't execute that 100% because we were trying to work again with air traffic control, and they're very rigid in their assignments that they give you, which is why I really dislike working with air traffic control. But the one positive thing, kind of positive if you will, that we got out of it is we did get our gate assignment, and the bonus there to getting the gate assignment from air traffic control is, you know, we had a crew there ready to receive us, we had a marshaller ready to receive us, and I think that is a big plus, So all in all, I think this is a success. I can't wait to shut down this airplane. I'm going to go say hello to Jason and be sipping a beverage of my choice in the villa here very soon. Jason, see you soon. I'm Liam Locke. This is Aircraft Adventures. If you like this video, please click the like button. I do appreciate it. And if you want to see more, click the subscribe. I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.